Hello, and welcome to my ranking of the Uncharted villains. Now, I've had the chance to see the Uncharted movie twice, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to rank all the villains. I have played through all the games except the PS Vita game, and the villains from that game I'm not gonna, of course, put in this ranking since I haven't played it. But all the other games I've played through the first one twice, and the other ones I've played through at least 10 times. So I think that I'm pretty sure that this is my ranking. I don't think I'm going to change it. And just to let you know, there will be spoilers for the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, wait and come back and watch this video once you've seen the movie. My number 15 is Joe Braddock from the movie. I was incredibly underwhelmed with this villain. I think she's a cheap knockoff of Nadine Ross from the fourth game. But I don't think she has the personality or the charisma. And I was incredibly disappointed that she turned out to be the main villain. I thought there was so much potential with Antonio Banderas' villain. And yes, it's surprising when she kills him right there in the middle, but it just didn't work for me. She was just really bland. My number 14 is Chloe Fraser from the movie. Now, I don't know if everyone would count her as a villain, but given the fact that she works with the villains for quite a large part of the movie, I do. And she was probably my biggest issue with the movie because I think Sophia Ali is horribly miscast. Nothing against Sophia Ali, but I don't think she captures the essence of Chloe at all. And I don't like the lack of trust and the whole backstabbing situation that's going on between her and Nate and her and Sully and even Sully and Nate. I don't really like those dynamics. Those were the things that annoyed me the most, her and the dynamic. Number 13 is Vargas from Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Again, I don't know if everyone would count him as a villain, but he sort of is a villainous presence. And he's just a pretty small character. He does everything that he's supposed to do. I don't really think there's any mistakes with him, but I mean, he's in like 10 minutes of the game and doesn't really leave a very big imprint on my memory. Number 12 is Atok Navarro from the first game. And I think the issue with the first game is the fact that the villains just are not as strong. It's not that they're horrible. None of them are horrible. He just isn't really the best. I think there's a lot of good to great villains in the Uncharted franchise. And he's just okay. I mean, I like the twist that he's the main villain and not Gabriel Roman. But yeah, he was just a little bland, but fine. And my number 11 is Gabriel Roman. He isn't the most lively and energetic villain on this list, but he's fine. I liked his whole backstory with Sully and how that plays into it, and he actually shoots Sully and you think Sully is dead. But he isn't the most memorable of the villains. My number 10 is Catherine Marlowe. Now, again, I like the whole backstory with both Sully, but also definitely Nate. And I think she's an okay presence, but the thing that drags Marlowe down is the fact that she isn't the most intense and memorable villain of the game in which she is the main villain. Number 9 is the one that is the most memorable villain from the third game. It is Talbot. Now, I definitely think that he has a lot more to him in terms of memorability and charisma. I think he's a lot more interesting and in many ways menacing, and I love the final battle with him. Number 8 is Asav. Now, again, I don't really have any issues with him. I think he is a fine villain. I think had he been in a game where Nathan Drake was the leading guy, he wouldn't have been as high. But given the fact that it's a lower scale game, I think he works very, very well for this story. I like his his objective and why he's doing what he's doing. I think that's all pretty fun and as said, really suits the game. Number 7 is Eddie Raja. Now, I think that even though he is the third villain from the first game, he is definitely the most memorable. He is so much fun. He is so lively and energetic and just fun to be around. And I love how he fights alongside Nate until he eventually dies. And he's just a great character and a great villain. Number 6 is Santiago Moncada. Now, what stops him from being in like the top 3 or maybe even top 2 is the fact that he's killed halfway through. I think Antonio Banderas is incredible in this role. He is perfect casting for an Uncharted villain. And I think it's a real shame that he's underutilized, that he is killed for Joe Braddock to take over. And it's just, that didn't sit right with me. So if he had actually fulfilled his potential and been there throughout the entire movie, he would have been like a top 2 or top 3 villain. Number 5 is Ramses from the third game. And this, just like Eddie Raja, is a game where I just prefer the third villain. I think Ramses is so much fun. He completely fools Nate and pretty much everyone playing the game. I was convinced he had Sully. But just the fact that this whole pirate situation where you can't trust him, but what he's saying is so believable because he's a bad guy. I just think that whole dynamic just works so well and makes him such a compelling villain. Number 4 is Nadine Ross. Now, I know that she has a redemptive arc in The Lost Legacy, but in that fourth game, she definitely is a villain, and she is the most kick-ass villain of the entire franchise. She is so energetic and lively and charismatic. I love the interactions with Nate, with Sully, with Sam, and how she can just kick their asses. She is such a badass. She is an incredible, incredible villain, and Laura Bailey does a great job voicing her. Number 3, for a long time, he was my favorite, Zoran Lazarevic. He is so menacing. I love him in the second game, in Among Thieves. Just the whole final battle took me forever to get through. And once I got it on the first try in like my 20th replay of the game, I was so proud because he is so incredibly difficult to take down. And just the manic performance, the manic voice performance just works so well. He is menacing. He is incredible. Number 2, and again, I prefer a side villain or a sidekick. It is Harry Flynn. I think Harry Flynn pulls off, well, not the greatest shock, that will come in a minute, but the second greatest shock when he abandons Nate at that museum. I was completely surprised the first time I played the game, and it just keeps on working. He is so good. He is so annoying, but also just fun. He is just a brilliant character. But my number 1 is Rafe Adler. This is the villain with the most compelling backstory, the most intense villain personality, and the most compelling of reasonings for what he's doing. I completely buy him to be this son of a rich guy who just wants to make it on his own and not be known for the fact that his father is rich. That in itself is incredible. The twist that is in this game once they make it into Libertalia is the greatest twist of this franchise. Just the way it's delivered by Wraith, that Sam completely lied to Nate. It is just amazing. I love Wraith, and I would love it if they found some way to make him come back, but I know that they're not. But he is an incredible, incredible villain. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, this is what I want to do on this channel. I want to watch as many movies and as many TV shows, and I want to rank them, and I want to bring the reviews and the rankings to you guys. If you want to be a part of that, please consider clicking that subscribe button.